got Midge Ure on the line now. Good morning, Midge.
Good morning, Wayne. How you doing?
Very well, very well. Busy times for you.
It's fantastic. I'm standing here looking at out over the Wiltshire countryside. It's just stunning.
Well, I can't believe I've just been looking at your bio that Vienna is 40 years old.
Yeah, I
That makes
know.
me feel really old.
It doesn't roll off the tongue well. I have to say. 40 years looking backwards is a very odd thing to do because it all feels like yesterday.
Yeah.
40 years looking forward is just unthinkable at my age. So it's a really weird scenario.
But I mean, like I said, I was just reading your bio, and what a career! I mean, the people you've collaborated with, the people you've worked with, incredible names. A career people could only envy.
Yeah, a career that you can't actually plan.
Yeah.
Things like that. Things like being MD for the Princess Trust, or doing Live Aid, or doing collaborations with Kate Bush or Peter Gabriel or whatever. It's the sort of stuff that, as a schoolboy, you would sit and write on your school jotter. One day I would like to, and this stuff has just happened to me. It's just incredible. But yeah, I'm exceptionally lucky.
I mean, I read that Bob Geldof, I mean, he praises you for being very instrumental, pretty much the one that pushed for Band Aid and, very much behind Live Aid. I mean, that's a lot. That's hell of a lot of history to live with.
It is. It's a huge responsibility. I mean, I think it's a very different scenario. It's just what I was saying about looking back rather than looking forward all the time.
Yeah.
Looking back at something like that, yes, it's massive. But at the time, we were looking forward, and the reality was we thought that record, by making that record, we could raise £100,000. Now, that was realistic. But nobody saw what was going to happen. You couldn't foresee that this thing was going to turn into not just a massive, musical event, but a social event, and it changed people's opinions on what charity work actually was. You couldn't see that. If you could see that, maybe we would have been absolutely petrified and screwed it all up or something. I don't know. But, you start these things at the thin end of the wedge, and then it just expands and expands and expands beyond anything you could ever imagine.
And decades later, people still talking about it, and it's so relevant in, pop culture. It's a huge, momentous moment in pop culture.
Well, and social culture as well.
Absolutely.
I think a lot of things changed. It wasn't just the revelation that a fairly notorious, self-centered industry, the music industry, had actually done something good for other people. I mean, it wasn't just that. It was the fact that we used a medium that everyone could understand. Music. We used music as a platform to say something and try and make a change, and that's something that is now quite commonplace, but back then it was quite an unusual thing to do.
Absolutely, and thank God somebody done something. I mean, it was quite easy to just carry on with your lives back then, and I mean, it wasn't a great time in the UK in the early 80s either, but for people to stand up and do something for another country, I mean, it was quite an incredible moment.
Well, people were finding it tough. It was a 3-day working week,
Yeah.
and money was tight, and it was we were going through a very tough time. But it just shows the spirit of human spirit.
Yeah.
When you see somebody who's much worse off than you, you do what you can.
Absolutely. But I'm looking back at your career, and I mean, you've worked with so many people. You've had so many highs. I mean, big hits as well, and you can enjoy success, but for you, what did you enjoy the most? When you look back, which period or what project that you were involved with did you really enjoy?
I've got to say Ultravox. Simply because when I joined the band, they had just come off tour. The singer left, the guitarist left. They'd just been dropped by the record label. They'd already had 3 albums out. Everyone was writing them off. But for me, it was the most exciting thing ever, because musically, I'd never heard a band that sounded anything like them. The combination of modern technology and traditional rock instruments and classical instruments, violin and viola and stuff. The sound that Ultravox made was just enormous. So it's not the sort of band you would join if your aims were to, generate lots of money and become really famous. You joined the band like that because the music was fantastic. So that was just a pivotal moment to me.
And Vienna, I mean, it's an anthem of a generation. Whenever I hear it now, it reminds me of a time in my life, and I'm sure a lot of people feel that way. And a huge moment for you, career-wise.
Absolutely. I mean, 1980 was just a ridiculous year for me. Both the Vienna album, Ultravox's Vienna album, and Visage's first album, which again I was a major part of, came out and were successful, released at the same time. So 1980, everything had changed for me, hence going out and doing this current tour, and hence the soundtrack compilation album that refers to a lot of that stuff, and to see a very tenuous, I suppose, and a very odd musical path running through these last 40 years is just bizarre, and sometimes I have to kind of pinch myself and look back at this and think, was that me? Did I do that? Because it's such a long time ago. And then when you put a body of work like that together, it all becomes quite coherent in a funny kind of way. So yeah, there've been numerous highs, and it's very difficult to pick one particular thing that you think that was the moment of my life.
Yeah.
I think musically, joining Ultravox when we had absolutely nothing was brilliant. And of course, Bandy and Livey, they were brilliant for a different reason,
Yeah, and I mean, huge, like I said, musical moments for a generation. And you're taking Vienna on the road?
I am, yes. As I said, there's this 1980 tour. I'm going out and playing the entire Vienna album because, 40 years ago right now, we would have been writing it or starting to think about, what was going in the album. I'm playing selections of the Visage album, which is, a lot of which have never been played live before. And the added bonus, I suppose, is that my old Visage co-founder, Rusty Egan, is going to be on stage for those things with me, for the first time ever, which is bizarre, because Visage was set up as a studio project, not a live project. So in a way, it's kind of gone out and giving a nod towards, poor old Steve Strange, going out there and playing those things live for the first time.
Yeah, and Steve, only down the road from Cardiff, Porthcawl boy, local guy for us. Yeah, so
I know. What a fashion icon the guy was. He's forever remembered in history for him and Rusty setting up the Blitz Club and sponsoring the Blitz Kids and the whole new romantic movement.
And touring, how do you feel about it? I mean, some people have a love-hate relationship with it. Some people, they live for it. They live for the live crowd. How do you feel about getting out on the road?
I think I've got to sometimes sit down and figure out why I feel absolutely perfectly happy sitting in an empty hotel room with a television on in the background and watching it. And it's because of years of touring. That's what you do. You walk into a hotel room, you turn the television or the radio on, so there's a noise in the background, and I can sit there quite happily, entertaining myself. And that only comes, I think, from years of doing it. I have toured constantly since I turned professional at 18, and I've been touring constantly all the way through my life. I love it, and I love the buzz that you get from performing live, and I love the interaction with an audience, and there's nothing to substitute that. It's great being in the studio, and it's great writing new material, but to be out there performing things that you've written and things that you can see people absolutely loving, it's just there's no drug like it, really.
It's got to be like the final product, doesn't it? It's got to be like the end of the conveyor belt. It's like, right, do you like it?
Absolutely, and you can see it, and people don't like it, they let you know, so there is no buffer. You perform well, the audience react well.
So before we go, I just want to ask you one thing. When you walk out onto a stage like on Wembley, a packed stadium, how does that feel?
Petrifying.
Really?
I defy anybody to say otherwise. It's exciting, and you're nervous, and walking out there specifically on the Live Aid day was petrifying for Ultravox because our sound checks used to take 5 hours. We had no sound check.
Wow.
You walk on and we didn't know if the stuff was going to work or not. Luckily it all did. So it's a scary, scary prospect. But the moment you're out there and you start performing, you're in your comfort zone because it's what you do.
Do you ever stop and do you ever think about like your place in pop culture, the things that you've contributed to it? Just like the Bohemian Rhapsody movie now. I mean, a large part of that, the magic of that, what was captured at Live Aid. You know, these are moments which you were very instrumental in creating.
It's kind of, sometimes it's very difficult to the trees. It's just part of my life. It's part of what we did, part of what I was allowed to be part of. And you can't look back and think, oh, well, didn't I do well? You look back and think, wasn't I lucky? Wasn't I lucky to be there in the room? Wasn't I lucky to be on the end of the phone when Bob called? Wasn't I lucky to be in the studio and work with all those people? And, wasn't I lucky to do the Prince's Trust? Wasn't I lucky to do the Nelson Mandela concert? All of those moments, you kind of earn them. You don't go seeking them. They come to you, and they only come to you because you're capable of doing it. You're in the right place at the right time, and there's a little bit of talent and a lot of luck.
And on that particular day, I mean, can you recall what it was like backstage? What the atmosphere was like? Were people nervous? But I mean, you had some of the biggest stars in the world all in one place.
Yeah, they were all nervous. As I said, I defy anyone to tell me they weren't, because it wasn't just the crowd that was at Wembley. It was the
world.
Hundreds of thousands of millions of people around the world watching this. It's the biggest global concert ever. And you do not want to go and screw up.
No.
When someone in Antarctica is watching it on a little television and you're singing the wrong words. You want to try and get it as right as you can. So yeah, of course it's nerve-wracking.
Career-changing moments for many people that day.
Yeah, maybe the wrong way.
I don't think so. I think most people come out of Live Aid looking pretty amazing. I mean,
yeah, it was a magnificent thing. I managed to get out front into the enclosure that the artists were allowed and the press were allowed and stuff. And I sat there doing the usual artist thing. They'd announce the next act and I'd be sitting in my head going, I don't like them much, or I don't like him much, or I don't like her much. And then they come on and completely me away. And then I consistently did it. I kept thinking, oh, this is the next one, I don't like them much. And then was completely blown away. Because the only reason they were there is because they're all brilliant at what they do.
Yeah.
You can appreciate quality and talent without actually it being your particular type of music. So I sat there with egg on my face, just thinking, oh God, I shouldn't even be on the same stage as some of these people,
You're the reason there was a stage, Well, it's been lovely to chat with you. You're an absolute icon. I can't wait for you to come to Cardiff. And I mean, it's going to be incredible just to hear those songs once more. 40 years old, Vienna. I feel so old right now.
I'm not as old as I feel.
Oh, you don't know. Well, I got a bit of a hangover today too, so I'm feeling really old today. Midge, thank you so much for the chat.
All right, thanks.
You take care. All the best. See you in Cardiff soon.
Cheers.
Bye now.